honored, and I'm also more honored that because, you know, what we're talking about is so important and so meaningful that we're able to have this much anticipation, and so many people want to go see it and are talking about it. Like, that's what I'm grateful for.
People care so much more about your personal life than they do your work, and if you aren't open with your personal life, then they just make it up for you and share it for you.
Blake Lively. The name itself conjures images of effortless glamour, a radiant smile that could light up a room, and a seemingly down-to-earth persona that resonated with millions. For years, she was Hollywood's golden girl, gracing red carpets, commanding magazine covers, and charming audiences with her wit and warmth. She was the relatable star, the style icon, the actress who made it all look so easy. But behind the dazzling facade, whispers of a different Blake began to circulate. Cracks started to appear in the carefully constructed image of America's sweetheart. Then, the unthinkable happened. A tidal wave of shocking allegations erupted, centered around her involvement in the highly anticipated film adaptation of It Ends With Us. What was meant to be a dream project, a heartwarming story brought to life on screen, descended into a real-life drama of backstage battles, leaked text messages that painted a disturbing picture, and explosive accusations that threatened to shatter everything. And in a twist that no one saw coming, a move so audacious it sent shockwaves through the very foundations of Hollywood, Blake Lively's own attorney, a legal heavyweight known for representing the industry's elite, publicly abandoned her. Not just a quiet resignation, but a dramatic, unprecedented defection, complete with a statement that essentially painted Blake as a client who had gone to extraordinary, even unethical lengths to undermine the film and its director, Justin Baldoni. It wasn't just a professional parting of ways, it was a public denouncement, a legal bombshell that detonated in the heart of the entertainment world. The question that instantly gripped everyone was, why? What could have possibly transpired behind the closed doors of this film, set to drive a top-tier lawyer to such a drastic, reputation-damaging measure? How could the seemingly charming and universally adored Blake Lively become embroiled in a controversy so toxic, so explosive, that it triggered a public unraveling more dramatic than any role she had ever played? The answer, as it turned out, was buried beneath layers of carefully crafted narratives, partial truths, and a desperate battle for control.
I mean, honestly, the way that I get into a character is through their style. So it was more about who Lily is that was so fascinating to me.
It Ends With Us. Even the title itself hinted at the emotional depths and potential for drama. Adapted from Colleen Hoover's best-selling novel, a book that had cultivated a fiercely loyal and passionate fan base, the film adaptation was poised to be more than just a movie. It was destined to be a cultural event. The story resonated deeply with readers, promising a raw, emotional journey, and the anticipation for its cinematic translation was palpable. Enter Justin Baldoni, an actor with a growing directorial ambition and a reputation for projects steeped in empathy and positivity. He was seen as the perfect captain to steer this emotional ship, bringing both his on-screen presence and his heartfelt vision behind the camera. And then came the casting announcement that amplified the excitement to a fever pitch. Blake Lively. Her star power was undeniable. Her presence guaranteed to draw massive attention. Fans erupted in cheers. This was it. This was going to be something special. Publicly, the narrative was carefully curated. A dream team, a perfect synergy. Blake and Justin, in carefully crafted interviews and social media posts, spoke of their mutual respect, their shared passion for the project, and the exciting collaboration that lay ahead. Justin, the champion of authentic storytelling, and Blake, the dazzling star ready to embrace a new, emotionally resonant role. It looked like a match made in Hollywood heaven, a project destined for critical acclaim and box office success. But behind the scenes, far from the carefully managed public image, a different story was unfolding. The initial harmony was fragile, a thin veneer masking a growing discord. This dream project, laden with expectation and promise, was unknowingly heading towards a storm, a tempest of egos, accusations, and ultimately a spectacular public fallout.
That ended up actually getting picked up and doing very well, and I was one of two people maybe, and then I get a call from my managers and my agent. They were both on the line, which means it's something serious. Either you got the job or there's something wrong. And they said, so you were the choice, but the network said that your eyebrows would be too distracting.
Oh, what?
Oh no.
And then they went like, so what can we do about your eyebrows?
The first signs of trouble weren't grand pronouncements or public spats. Instead, they emerged as hushed whispers, rumors that snaked their way through the Hollywood grapevine and onto online gossip forums. Insiders on the It Ends With Us set started to murmur about a growing tension, a subtle but palpable unease. The central point of friction, it seemed, revolved around Blake Lively's perceived feeling of being overshadowed. Justin Baldoni in this project wasn't just a co-star, he was the director, the co-writer, the producer, the driving creative force in almost every aspect of the film. His multifaceted role naturally placed him in a position of prominence, shaping the artistic direction and overall tone of the production. And according to these early discreet leaks, Blake Lively was not entirely comfortable with this dynamic. Gossip began to circulate that she felt her creative input was being stifled, that Justin was exerting too much control over her performance and character portrayal. Behind the closed doors of trailers and production meetings, sources claimed Blake expressed her discontent, grumbling about Justin's directorial approach and a growing suspicion that he was deliberately crafting a media narrative that downplayed her significance to the film's success. These whispers, initially confined to industry circles, inevitably began to seep into the public consciousness, filtering through tabloids and social media. Astute fans, always hyper-aware of celebrity dynamics, started to dissect every public appearance, every interview, searching for clues, and they began to find them. Subtle shifts in body language, lukewarm or carefully worded comments exchanged between Blake and Justin, awkward pauses, and abrupt changes in topic whenever Justin's directorial contributions were highlighted. These seemingly minor anomalies began to paint a picture of underlying strain. Even fleeting glimpses in behind-the-scenes footage, a raised eyebrow here, a tight-lipped smile there, hinted at a tension simmering beneath the surface of the supposedly harmonious production. The dream collaboration was starting to resemble a power struggle, a subtle but increasingly visible battle for creative dominance.
I mean, I internalized that as opportunity. Like, we had such a responsibility to this audience to deliver something and to have the opportunity to deliver something for a passionate group of people.
Yes.
As someone who is so deeply passionate myself, I was so excited about that. I would so much rather have that than people who are indifferent.
Blasé.
As the whispers intensified and the rumors gained traction, Blake Lively, feeling the pressure and sensing a shift in public perception, decided to go on the offensive. She didn't passively accept the narrative of diva demands or creative clashes. Instead, she launched a counterattack, a strategic maneuver designed to reclaim control of the narrative and position herself as the victim. Her weapon of choice? The accusation of a calculated smear campaign. Blake publicly alleged that Justin Baldoni himself was orchestrating a deliberate and systematic effort to damage her reputation, to tarnish her image in the eyes of the press and the public. She claimed he was the puppet master, pulling strings behind the scenes, planting negative stories, and fueling the gossip mill to undermine her and elevate his own standing in relation to the film. Initially, these accusations resonated and gained considerable traction. Hollywood, with its long history of shifting loyalties, backroom deals, and strategically placed leaks, is fertile ground for such narratives. It wasn't a far-fetched concept to believe that a powerful director, facing creative disagreements with a leading actress, might resort to underhanded tactics to gain the upper hand. Furthermore, the entertainment industry has a well-documented history of disproportionately scrutinizing and criticizing leading ladies, often holding them to harsher standards than their male counterparts. Viewers and industry insiders, acutely aware of this gendered dynamic, were initially inclined to be sympathetic to Blake's claims. Poor Blake, many thought, echoing earlier sentiments. She's being unfairly targeted, victimized by a powerful male director trying to control the narrative. The smear campaign accusation provided a convenient and compelling explanation for the growing negativity surrounding her. But while a segment of the public remained firmly in Blake's corner, ready to believe her victim narrative, a seismic shift was on the horizon. A counter-narrative, backed by concrete evidence, was about to emerge. One that would not only complicate Blake's story, but potentially dismantle it entirely. The smear campaign defense was about to be challenged by something far more potent than rumors and accusations: cold, hard text messages.
And being frank, if it were not for women giving me direct feedback in my own personal life and being a man who was willing to at least listen to them, there's no chance that I would be having this conversation. So the message, to answer your question, the message is very simple. As men, we need to embrace all of the parts of us that make us human. That's it.
It is.
It's
And I
very
love-
simple.
The narrative landscape irrevocably shifted with the sudden, unexpected emergence of text messages. These weren't anonymous tips or vague industry whispers. These were purported screenshots of actual text message exchanges, leaked online by sources claiming close affiliation with Justin Baldoni. The authenticity of these messages would later be heavily debated, but their initial impact was undeniable. What these text exchanges allegedly depicted was a starkly different reality than the one Blake Lively had presented. Instead of Justin Baldoni orchestrating a smear campaign to marginalize Blake, the text painted a picture of Blake herself, actively and aggressively asserting near absolute control over significant aspects of the It Ends With Us production. The messages allegedly revealed Blake invoking her sphere of influence, a term that seemed to encompass her powerful connections and leverage within Hollywood. She reportedly name-dropped her husband Ryan Reynolds, a box office titan in his own right, and alluded to other influential figures she referred to somewhat ominously as her dragons. These dragons, it was implied, were a network of powerful friends and allies ready to be mobilized at her command. In multiple text messages, Blake purportedly made veiled but chillingly clear suggestions. If her demands concerning the film weren't met, if her creative vision wasn't prioritized, she wouldn't hesitate to unleash her formidable connections to influence crucial elements of the production, from the final film edits to the marketing campaigns and even the very media coverage surrounding the movie. The implications were staggering. What had initially appeared as creative differences or on-set tension now seemed to morph into something far more serious, bordering on intimidation and potential coercion. The whispers of diva demands, once dismissed as tabloid fodder, suddenly took on a chilling new resonance, backed by what appeared to be direct documented evidence. Public perception began to subtly, then dramatically, shift. Blake Lively, once seen as the sympathetic victim of a smear campaign, was now being viewed through a different lens, a lens that suggested manipulation, a relentless pursuit of control, and a willingness to leverage her power to get her way, regardless of the consequences. The leaked text messages had thrown a Molotov cocktail into the carefully constructed narrative, and the flames of public opinion were beginning to burn fiercely around Blake Lively.
But I was like just tracking him down, and then I finally got to read the script, and the script was a thriller. So that was a little confusing to me because he's like such a funny director.
Yeah.
And so I said, you know, what is this? Because the script is definitely like a twisting, turning, intense thriller. Is it a comedy or a thriller? And he said, yes. So then every day on set, I was like, is today a comedy or is it a thriller?
It's a good mix
and
of
it's
both.
like, yeah, it's like really kind of over the top and campy and trashy and fun and like, you know, kind of like my outfit, I guess.
But even the leaked text messages, as damaging as they were merely a prelude to the real earthquake, the event that truly solidified the shift in public opinion and cemented this saga as a landmark Hollywood scandal, the lawyer's bombshell. Blake Lively's legal representation wasn't just any attorney. It was a high-powered, seasoned professional, a heavyweight in the entertainment law arena known for navigating the treacherous waters of celebrity disputes and protecting the reputations of Hollywood's A-list. This lawyer, someone Blake had entrusted with her career and image for years, didn't just decide to part ways. In an act that defied Hollywood norms and sent shockwaves through the legal community, they publicly resigned from Blake Lively's case. This wasn't a discreet, behind-closed-doors withdrawal. Instead, this attorney issued a formal, carefully worded public statement, a declaration that openly voiced profound and unsettling concerns about the fundamental credibility of Blake Lively's very claims. This was unprecedented, unheard of, a legal professional bound by client confidentiality and professional ethics, effectively turning against their own client in the public square. The lawyer's statement, while avoiding explicit accusations of wrongdoing, strongly implied that the narrative Blake Lively was aggressively pushing was, at best, fundamentally flawed and at worst intentionally misleading, even fabricated. The carefully chosen words hinted at ethical misgivings, suggesting that the lawyer could no longer, in good conscience, represent a client whose version of events clashed so dramatically with the available evidence. Industry observers were utterly stunned. The speculation reached a fever pitch. What had this lawyer seen? What damning evidence? What irrefutable witness testimonies? What undeniable discrepancies in Blake's account had they uncovered that would compel them to take such a career-jeopardizing jeopardizing, reputation-risking step. The implication was clear and devastating. Blake Lively's carefully constructed version of events, the narrative she had so vehemently defended, was not just cracking, it was imploding, collapsing under the weight of verifiable facts. The lawyer's public defection wasn't just a professional setback for Blake Lively, it was a public declaration of no confidence, a legal and ethical condemnation broadcast for the entire world to witness, signaling the near-certain demise of her carefully crafted narrative and potentially her carefully cultivated image.
I think the idea that people think that they know you, I think because of how intrusive media is these days, people care so much more about your personal life than they do your work, and if you aren't open with your personal life, then they just make it up for you and share it for you.
The moment Blake Lively's lawyer publicly resigned, it acted as a catastrophic domino, triggering a cascading series of repercussions that accelerated the unraveling of her public image. The lawyer's bombshell statement served as a green light for industry insiders who had previously remained silent due to fear of reprisal or professional repercussions to finally speak out. Castmates and crew members from the It Ends With Us production, witnessing the dramatic shift in public perception and sensing a newfound sense of safety in numbers, began to privately share their own accounts, their own observations of what had transpired behind the scenes. A disturbingly consistent picture began to emerge from these independent accounts. Blake Lively, it was alleged, had exhibited a pattern of behavior characterized by deliberate manipulation, a tendency to seize upon ordinary production challenges and inflate them into hot-button issues, only to later weaponize these distorted scenarios in legal documents, media interviews, and public statements. One production assistant, emboldened by the lawyer's public stance, recounted a specific incident where Blake had insisted on numerous reshoots of a particular scene, citing vague, creative reasons. Yet just days later, in subsequent interviews, Blake allegedly presented the very same reshoot scenario as concrete proof of the production's lack of consideration for actors' emotional well-being and safety protocols. A baffling and deeply troubling mismatch between reality and public narrative. The carefully curated image of Blake Lively, the charming, relatable, and down-to-earth star, was rapidly dissolving, replaced by a far less flattering portrait, one painted with allegations of calculated manipulation, systematic exaggeration, and a disturbing willingness to bend and potentially break the truth to serve her own agenda. Online forums and social media platforms became battlegrounds, erupting with heated debates and polarized opinions. Fans, once united in their adoration of Blake Lively, were now bitterly divided, some expressing profound feelings of betrayal and disillusionment, accusing her of calculated deception and a cynical manipulation of public sentiment. Others, fiercely clinging to their idealized image of the actress, desperately sought to rationalize the lawyer's actions, suggesting hidden motives, personal vendettas, or external pressure as explanations for the dramatic defection. But regardless of the desperate attempts to salvage her image, the damage was undeniable. Blake Lively's reputation was in freefall, plummeting from Hollywood darling to a figure shrouded in controversy and suspicion. In the aftermath of the legal earthquake and the ensuing reputational aftershocks, Justin Baldoni, the man initially cast as the antagonist in Blake Lively's narrative, found himself in a position of unexpected vindication. He had embarked on a journey to create a heartfelt and meaningful film adaptation, only to be thrust into the chaotic spotlight of a bizarre public drama, forced to defend his integrity and character by reluctantly releasing private communications. But by the time Blake Lively's own lawyer delivered the devastating blow, Justin no longer needed to aggressively champion his own perspective. His adversary's legal counsel, in a stunning act of professional defiance, had effectively done it for him, validating his unspoken defense and casting a harsh light on the inconsistencies of Blake's claims. The dramatic and unprecedented exit of the lawyer served as a stark underscore, a flashing neon sign illuminating what many in Hollywood had already begun to suspect. The deeper one probed into Blake Lively's accusations, the more flimsy and ultimately unsustainable they became. Hollywood, an industry built on illusion and carefully crafted personas, took note. The saga of It Ends With Us had become a cautionary tale, a stark and public demonstration of the fragility of celebrity image, a potent reminder that in a world saturated with perception and spin, truth and verifiable evidence, however inconvenient, will eventually relentlessly surface. As Blake Lively navigates the treacherous path forward, attempting to salvage her career and resurrect her tarnished reputation, defection, she faces a formidable uphill battle, not just against Justin Baldoni's side and the weight of public opinion, but against the deafening echo of her own former representative's damning words. Should she choose to relentlessly pursue her claims, she will be forced to confront the credibility gap exposed by her lawyer's defection. Should she opt for a quieter approach, attempting to let the scandal fade into the background, she will be forever shadowed by an unresolved cloud of doubt, a lingering suspicion that could taint every future venture. Either choice carries substantial, career-altering risk. Justin Baldoni, in contrast, despite enduring significant personal and professional stress throughout this ordeal, emerges in a surprisingly strengthened position, his reputation largely untarnished, perhaps even enhanced by the public's dramatic shift in sympathy. As the public continues to pore over the leaked text messages, dissect the lawyer's statement, and analyze every confession and counter-accusation, a lasting resolution to this Hollywood drama remains elusive. The legal gears grind slowly, and public opinion, though swift to condemn, can be equally fickle, susceptible to shifting again with the emergence of any new twist or revelation. But regardless of the ultimate legal and PR outcomes, the dramatic departure of Blake Lively's attorney has already indelibly etched this saga into Hollywood lore, a modern-day morality play about the perilous dance between perception and reality in the world of celebrity. With a single shocking resignation, it hammered home a profound and enduring truth. Even the most meticulously constructed celebrity facade, the most dazzlingly polished image, can crumble spectacularly when the foundation of facts simply refuses to align, leaving behind a trail of startling revelations that few in the beginning could have possibly foreseen.